Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there is John,
I
our
was trying to get both my.
resident
There we go.
millennial. Our resident millennial. The
That's
resident
right.
millennial. I see Elephant Man
A
in the
little
chat,
low.
and he's got me wondering what he's talking about with hot salad. But anyway, he drops in,
I'll
says,
tell
in
you
and out, hot and
exactly
spicy fiber fight tonight. He was
what a hot
organized,
salad is.
drinking coffee, and he ate some hot salad, if you know what that is.
Yes, so you
So,
take a head of lettuce, throw it in the microwave, heat it up for 3.5 minutes, and you put some ranch on it. Hot salad.
okay. Now, tomatoes chunked with onion, jalapenos, and oil and vinegar. Okay, not the same hot salad I was thinking of. When I was a kid, what we used to do is we would take spinach greens and get a whole pile, and you just get a whole pile of them, fresh spinach greens, throw them in a bowl, and you fry up some bacon. And you take that bacon and you chop it up, right? And you mix it in that
Hmm.
salad. And then, right before you serve it, you run that bacon grease through a little strainer over the top of the fucking salad while it's still hot. And it puts a wilt on that spinach and you eat it hot. And that's damn good. And not good for your heart at all.
Damn. Yeah, it sounds like it wouldn't be.
Not good for your heart at all. I do not recommend this. Don't try this at home.
Okay, these are
It's
professionals.
it's really fucking good, but do not try this at home. Wilted spinach greens, nice hot salad. But that sounds really good. What Elephant's talking about, John? Do you like potato salad? I think no.
No.
Okay. Some people like to serve potato salad hot. If you've ever had a hot potato salad, now I'm not I'm on the fence as to whether I like that as much as I do regular potato salad, but I'm not a huge fan of either one when it comes to those kind of salads. Those don't throw me. Those mayonnaise-based salads. Love mayonnaise. Give me coleslaw all day long. The votes in coleslaw is the shit. So if it's a good coleslaw, but that's just my opinion. You heard it here first. John, would you
Robert.
like to weigh in with an answer on the coleslaw debate?
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Man, you don't.
Oh, dog.
You are such a picky eater.
I am.
Absolutely picky eater.
Yeah,
I mean, if
it's a thing.
do you even like potatoes at all?
Of
Let's.
course,
Okay, you like
absolutely.
potatoes,
Yeah,
made specific ways. You're a big baby about them some other ways, though, right? Some ways.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like scalloped potatoes and shit like that. Like
Here
that's
we go.
kind of
Yeah.
nasty. Yeah,
Look,
but listen, just boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. They're all good.
listen. I have never. Well, let me think. I have never met a potato I did not like. No matter how it was cooked, the potato was always good, even if the dish around it sucked ass.
It's a great vegetable.
It is the best. It is the most malleable starch. Now, Elephant Man, if that salad could be made without the tomatoes, but it appears to me that tomatoes are a primary thing in that salad, which is a sad thing for me because I don't love tomatoes. About the only way John, tomatoes? Probably not, right?
It depends. No, like in a stew, they're good.
Stew, okay.
Yeah, because they're soft and like they're not, they're not juicy or anything. They're just kind of in there.
Okay, so then
Um,
you so on a sandwich, preferred not, or does it
Preferred
matter?
not. Yeah. No, not. No, no,
Because
no,
it'll
no.
make the sandwich soggy and
Yeah. And it's
right.
just, yeah.
And then the consistency, right? You can't ever get the right consistency of the tomato.
Yeah.
Elephant Man says the older I get, the more I like potatoes.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with potatoes.
Yeah.
As long as you
They're
can
so
grow them,
versatile.
and you don't need space to grow them. All you need is a potato that's making eyes and a small amount of space, and you can grow some potatoes and keep yourself eating for quite a while if you do it right.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but tomatoes, when I was a kid, the only way I enjoyed tomatoes is if I was out in the garden myself and I was able to pick it right off the vine at my preferred ripeness, because if you got it just right, just after it started turning red and had mostly red but wasn't full on ripe, pluck it off, eat it like an apple.
Ugh,
That's what was good. It would be
nah.
firm. It would be just firm, starting to get a little bit, starting to get it sweet before that sweet melts away into the rest of the tomato. Not overly juicy. It's still a firm gel in there,
Hmm.
to where it's manageable. That was the only way I could eat tomatoes. But man, fresh off the vine is the only way to eat tomatoes, in my opinion. It's the best way, fresh grown. Um, but I'm a purist, in
Yeah,
that
it seems
sense.
like it. That's pretty pure.
When it comes to vegetables, I am. We're having a devil of a time right now trying to grow some pumpkins, man. They
Oh,
keep
you're trying to grow pumpkins?
they keep flowering, and we're starting to get small pumpkins developing behind the flower. But as soon as the flower dies off, as it will,
Hmm.
drops off, the pumpkin itself is dropping off as well. It's none of them are maturing much bigger than a walnut, and
Damn.
it's for some reason something about the soil is not. It grew gourds great, but it won't grow these damn pumpkins.
Hmm.
Sad to say. Sad to say.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
unfortunate.
I have an update that I have to throw out there.
Oh shit.
You remember when I talked about wanting to grow cotton?
Oh yeah.
It would be really cool if we were able to grow cotton. Um, Apparently, it is illegal to grow cotton
Really,
in many of the southern states of
but not
America.
Florida.
Oh, Florida's included.
Oh yeah.
Basically anything below Virginia, right up in that, way up in that area, anything down below that, and all the way out over to, I don't know, Missouri, somewhere out over in there. Everything below that, it's illegal to grow cotton.
That is stupid.
It's
Why?
not.
Do you know
There's
why?
Yeah, boll weevils. They don't
Uh,
want you growing a half dozen cotton plants and getting some boll weevils, because those boll weevils will somehow get to the actual certified growers that are growing cotton, and who take meticulous care to not get boll weevil breakouts. So you can fuck that up with your cotton plants. So no, it's not even no. If you want to grow it, you have to get so many permits. You got to be fucking Calvin Klein and need it
fuck
for underwear.
off. Fuck
No,
off.
no growing. No,
Just grow it.
John. No,
Fuck them.
no,
Fuck them.
no cotton. You
Fuck them.
cannot grow cotton. You cannot grow
In the
fucking
South.
cotton in the South, even where it'll grow the best.
Right.
You cannot grow cotton.
Sounds more like somebody wanted a monopoly.
That sounds like I have to agree. Hey Wyatt, what's up? Wyatt showing up in the chat. Yeah, I was amazed when my wife told me this. She's like, "Yeah, we can't grow cotton." I'm
Fuck
like, "But
them.
there's so many uses for cotton,
Do it. Fuck
you
them.
know." Well,
What
I
are you gonna
mean,
have? What are you gonna have? Fed boys knocking down your door? Come on.
listen.
What the fuck?
If if by some fucking chance they could trace a boll weevil infection back to your small handful of cotton plants, knowing my fucking luck, they would. Right?
Oh my
Um,
god.
no,
I don't
but
know how.
so
How?
no, I am
How?
just saying this. It is technically, I just want to put it out there as a public service announcement. If you're in certain states in the United States, it is illegal to grow cotton.
See, I would say
So
fuck them. Like,
if
come arrest me for growing fucking cotton. Do it.
and they can,
Do
that's
it.
just it. I
I'll
mean,
make a
that's the sad
fucking
thing.
$1 million off of the story. Do it. Please. Like, oh my god.
John, the federal government says I cannot grow cotton in the
Is it
South.
actually federal or is it state by
Um,
state? Are you sure it's
well,
federal?
as
Because
far
if it
as
was
I
federal, it
understand,
would
because
be all states.
the way she read it, it was it sounded like it was a federal law, but I have to go back. I mean,
Yeah, because if it was
it could be.
federal, it would
Well,
be all
no, not if
states.
it's Department of Agriculture. Department of Agriculture gets to set standards state by state. They can do that.
Hmm.
I mean, we have a Department of Agriculture for a reason,
Oh, I know.
right?
They come visit us.
And
Yeah,
that's going to handle
every quarter they're visiting us. I know.
because I could imagine that every state runs into some sort of silly bullshit with interstate rules and bullshit about boll weevils and cotton planting and from state to state, and if it gets out in that state it could come over to this state and blah
Uh,
blah blah. All right, tell them they can't grow cotton, but women love the flower. Tell them they can't grow cotton.
fuck off.
It leads
Yeah.
to worse things.
It's a it's a gateway flower. Next thing you
Right?
know, you're
Cotton is a gateway plant. Next thing you know, you're going to be setting up an auction block, and nobody
that's
wants
right.
that in your neighborhood.
That's right.
All
Oh
right?
god.
Just saying, no cotton. And we're
Next
iffy
thing
on
you know,
tobacco right now,
next
right,
thing you know,
folks?
you're growing deadly nightshade and the and shit. Just slippery slope from there, man.
I, I would almost be willing. I would. No, I mean, I no, my laziness would win out. I would almost, I was going to say, I'd almost be willing to find out if those laws went into place, if there was anything to do with, you know,
Stopping other
s-
private people from owning their
slavery.
own,
I
so that
would to
yeah,
see
so that
if
plantations would
any
have
kind of
the
civil
yeah.
rights impetus was behind any of that as well. Um, you know, I mean, I'm like thinking about it. I'm going, holy shit. That could have happened. That could have been a thing.
Could have happened.
Yeah. But anyway, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I heard we have something to talk about tonight. I
No,
heard you
not
have something
really.
special planned.
Special?
Something very
I
special.
think you're overselling special.
Maybe.
Hold on, which one are you talking about?
The thing that you were showing me before we started.
Did I show you something before?
Oh my god.
Oh, are you talking about the memes?
Yes.
What I was calling memes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your boomer memes.
Boomer stuff, right?
Boomer,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
totally boomer stuff.
No, yeah, no. I came across this today, and I thought I saw this, and it led me down a short rabbit hole to where I came across these two pages. And you know as I was telling you, like, this is a generational thing for me, I'll admit it. When I was growing up, we didn't have your intertubes that were passing all this information back and forth, and people were able to manipulate stuff with your Adobe Poopy shops and your
Your etch a sketches and your
your
Revit.
your online etchy sketch and fun tools like
And
that.
your game kids and
Right,
your
with your
your
with your
Nintendo, everything.
your
Yeah.
Flash Shazam players and you know. But anyway, yeah. So once upon a time, it was political. It was political moments, in cartoons in the newspaper. And I remember as a kid, I would get to look at those. I sometimes I could look at the newspaper and I would look for those because I didn't really understand them, but there was a desire to understand them, and I didn't have anybody
Mm,
explaining shit like that to me. I wasn't, nobody was educating me at home on these things, right?
right.
But I wanted to understand them, just from the simple fact that, things that we talked about in school, resonated, and I knew that these had something to do with it. And so I tried to understand them. But, they're still around. Punditry in that sense is still around. And there's a lot of people, when we talk about the mainstream media, this is where you normally see them. Thanks. I'm sorry I'm keeping you awake.
No, no, I'm tired, man. I went to work early, man. It's
You
late.
kids and your,
Past my bedtime now.
oh, you're a whiner. You're such a whiner.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. But um, I was looking at these, and that's what they are. They're just punditry cartoons that you would find in your mainstream media, which is where a lot of your mainstream voters are seeing their memeology, as it were. Right? They're not necessarily digging into all the spicy, uh, you know, crazy
Yeah,
memes that are out there. The
they're certainly not based for sure. They're pretty milk
right?
toast.
They want to keep it tame, right?
Yeah.
But what I did find humorous when comparing these two pages was, and basically it's political cartoons uh, towards on Democrats, and then it's others on Republicans.
Right.
Just so you can see the two. But even in these cartoons where these are professionals, right?
These are, yeah,
These
they're
are
supposed to be
people,
professional meme smiths, but
right?
they're not. Yeah.
Political punditry, right? Even that, it's got to have a certain craft. And what I did seem to start realizing was even in this, I the left can't the left isn't memeable almost.
You
If
mean like they can't meme,
or
like
the right is not memeable. Maybe it's
not
the
as much.
right.
There's certainly memeable aspects to
Well,
the
look,
right,
like
but
I'll share with you,
yeah.
and I don't mind sharing with you because some of this I
But
think is
the difference is that the right is actually able to laugh at themselves for the most part. So like you show me a libertarian meme, I'll laugh if it's funny, obviously, because
right.
most of them are true.
See, so like this is a typical one that I'm talking about from the right, poking at the left. It's
Hmm.
this is this is pretty self-explanatory and it's funny as shit, right?
Yeah.
And you know, um, but then I look at and these are just I'm just kind of like a side by side comparison, but I go and I look at this one and I'm like,
There's just nothing there.
we're going
It's
heads
a
up. We're going to
department.
the Department of Broken Promises and the Department of Outright Lies. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
is that too basic? Is it
It's
having
just there's no substance to it. There's really nothing there. There's nothing specific it's pointing at. It's just kind of, and it's also basing it off like the fact that the reader knows that the Republicans are the like have broken promises and outright lies, but like as if that's unique to them.
right?
Like it just there's nothing really there. It doesn't
Um,
attempt to say anything. It doesn't really. It doesn't try and like. It's not even punching in any direction. It's just not doing anything.
um,
It's just kind of like hypocrites or whatever. It's like okay.
it's kind of funny. The this one with the RNC 2020. It's funny. This drawing style actually reminds me of the old Hustler comics. The stuff you'd see in the Hustler magazine.
Yeah.
Not that I ever read that. Um, so, so I this one was kind of it
What the
was
fuck?
it
This is stupid.
right. They're actually using using the right's word against them. It's because this is not a you know I don't know. Is the super spreader because he said he or the GOP said something about super spreader this that or the other when it was talking about Pelosi or something if I'm not mistaken. I missed it got
Probably.
lost in translation what it was.
Yeah.
But the this one's funny because I remember these commercials from when I was a kid, where there was like this running joke in our culture, back in the 80s, 90s. Only her hairdresser knows about what color
Mm,
it was a hair color commercial,
right.
and that only the hairdresser knew what color her hair was, because
Right.
these colors look so
Because they're so
natural,
good and they look
right?
natural. Yeah.
And so this is funny as shit. I'm like, okay, good job. That's funny. I get that. I don't know. It's it's not overplayed. This was funny as shit too, in its own way. It's a little spicy, just a little spicy but
For a
not too bad,
political cartoon, yeah.
not bad.
But
But
go back. So yeah, okay. So hang on, let's juxtapose these real quick, because this one, yeah, a little bit spicy. I mean, still pretty tame for a regular meme, but spicy for normies. Um, but that's like actually having a message, right? It actually has like a message of this is what Democrats do. This is what they're like, and they're using the imagery that we've seen where people are running cars through protesters.
right,
Like the Democrats are falling asleep at the wheel, Like you can see everything that the
Right. It
comic
tells a
is
good
trying to
story, right?
say. Yeah. And then you go to this one, it's just like, haha, he's super spreader. It's like a superhero. Like it, and somehow he has a big bulge too. I don't know what that's about,
Yeah, the trying to
but
make
like, what is
make
this
the
saying? What's the message for that?
this one I this one was like, okay, no, I no, that's it wasn't really. I don't know. I didn't get quite that from
Yeah, that
the
really wasn't
RNC, but
right.
the upbeat message, and I'm like, well, no, it was there was
There was a lot of
I
unity
didn't
and
get
hope and shit. Like
right.
when
I
you
didn't get that
this is
message. It
when
was like he's been doing
right.
this job, and he wants to just keep doing it, and look at what he's done here and there. This is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Democrats calling the GOP the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Exactly.
I mean, now
Yeah.
I mean this one could kind of apply either way, but still funny as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. See, I look through these and I'm like, this one just see again. I'm just like, well, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it portrays the information it
you
needs
had,
to portray.
but yeah, to a certain extent. I had to think about it for a minute. I'm like, what are they trying to say exactly? That the Dems have set
Trying
the
to
bar
sit
low,
right. They set it so low that it was almost impossible for the RNC to look bad.
right? Well, yeah,
They see there he's having an easy time about it. He's not worried about it at all. His shoes untied. That's how not worried about it he is.
um, this is funny.
That's fucking good. I like it. Yeah,
See,
that's fucking awesome.
they, and then
Well, real quick, I want to address what Jay Edgar is saying in the chat
who?
there. He said,
Oh
"Did I
yeah,
miss
yeah,
John's self promo?" Yeah. This Saturday, I will be joining Ed and I believe Steven on Ed's channel to talk about the pedo bill in California. So, yes, make sure you join us then. I believe it'll be, I think he said 5:30 or 6 p.m., and that's Eastern, of course, I think. I'm
on
pretty sure he converted it to the superior time zone for
on,
me.
on Sunday,
Saturday.
Saturday. I mean,
Saturday, yeah.
I can, I may be able to listen in while I've got the kid running around.
Gotcha. But yes, make sure you're there. I'll send out the link and stuff when time, and I'll remind everyone on
The
Friday as
Lincoln
well.
stuff is that the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah, link and stuff, and his logs. I heard he's got a bunch of those.
Yeah, yeah, Well, he built a house.
6:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Ed says,
6:30 p.m. Eastern.
"Yeah, I'm not getting up at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. I'm sorry, it ain't happening." So yes,
I I was kind of surprised that you didn't pull in Nate the Righteous on that.
it
That would be interesting to hear.
would be. I mean, I think we know what he would say though.
Whew, Lord knows.
So
Um, I guess
more memes.
I
Oh,
gotta
you still have more things.
no what? I still got what?
So you still got like I thought you were still talking about the Nate thing,
No no
but
no 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 no.
yeah.
So see this one was just tired. This, you know how long they've been. I mean, it was just a played out dig on the Republican Party. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
really because I don't know I don't even I don't know that's not how I get Mitch McConnell necessarily. That's not how he strikes me.
Yeah.
You know, this was good though. Poor fucking Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Here, have a cup of Joe. Normal.
Right. Cup of normal.
Oh, does that? Are you as concerned as I'm I don't know. Look,
But what?
I, yeah, I gotta let me come out off of this for a minute. I gotta
Oh
say,
shit!
I gotta
About to
say,
get real.
yeah, it's not gonna get real. Nothing's real anymore. It's all fake. It's all fake.
Aw, it's okay, Robert.
Um,
It's gonna be okay.
um, I'm beginning to be uneasy about the prospect of Joe Biden winning the election. I'm not saying that he
Yeah,
will, but I'm beginning to be uneasy about that prospect. Almost as
yeah,
uneasy as the prospect of Donald Trump winning the 2016 election. Only from the standpoint that he's done so much pandering to the left that I'm extremely concerned that that pandering is going to carry into policy, and that is a fucking scary idea to me,
right.
because I don't want the right or the left to fully get their way because it leads down the same path. But
Yeah.
I could see a whole different manifest destiny were it to fall into the wrong hands, and I'm beginning to wonder if Joe Biden is definitively the wrong hands. Um,
So
how much damage can
I
he do?
probably a lot can do. I don't think that he will. I don't think you're going to see a lot of those policies be put into place. If he, should he win? And I think the reason obviously is he's a corporate puppet, right? He's a neolib. He's not a progressive. He's not going to be pushing for that. He's doing this to obviously pander to his base and you know uh, get those people on his side. Because yeah, the left thinks that everyone likes them when most people just don't. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of that. I think you're going to see more likely you're going to see a new war in the Middle East. I think you're going to see us pushing our troops back over there is what you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see like mandatory child drag shows in schools and shit.
Well, what I what I what I don't expect to see is him putting a stop
Right. He's
to
not going to put a stop to
to
like riots
anything
and
that's
stuff.
going on.
Right. Not going to happen. Yeah. He's just going to let them burn.
Um,
But maybe not. But maybe not. He might be more likely to use military force than Trump would. I don't know. When it comes to that.
yeah, but the way that he would use it is not. That's not what we want either. And I because I he would
Right.
I don't trust him to use it properly. And most importantly, I don't trust the gut feeling I have about Kamala Harris being on the ticket.
Right.
That's another strong piece in there, and how much impact slash sway she's going to have in
Oh yeah.
decisions that are being made. I see her as working closer with this president than almost any vice president has with
Yeah.
any president in the past.
Absolutely.
She is
Yeah.
going to be a bug in his fucking ear.
Yeah, I think likely she would be the one doing like press conferences and stuff for the most part.
She fucking scares me.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
What
she's
she's
evil.
willing to do,
Oh yeah.
what she's willing to do, what not what she said she's willing to do, what I get a gut feeling she's willing to do
Yeah.
scares the ever living fuck out of me. And you know that's as good a time as any to bring this up. I saw something from Donald Trump that prompted me to look a little deeper. Um, well, and basically, he had come out and he was talking about California adopting new stuff in their curriculum. And he said that if they did, he was going to stop funding to their state. And I said, okay, let me see what this is about. So I look at it and what it's talking about, and I go deeper, and I realize that I am thoroughly on board with him making that call
Hmm.
and stopping funding to states if to any state that wants to do this. And this is about the 1619 project,
Right.
which was something that the New York Times did last year, put together.
Mhm.
And basically, it was it it was a I'm going to use terms loosely, so because I don't want to go into what best describes it, but anyway, it was a journalistic effort, as it were, um, to correctly correctly spin. See those air
Hmm.
quotes, folks? Correctly spin slavery from a historical standpoint, going back all the way back to 1619, when the first slaves were sold to American colonists here
Hmm.
in after settling.
Right.
So this, which predates, the Revolutionary War, etc., the Civil War by a long shot, etc. But one of the major assertions, and I believe her name is Rebecca Harris. I bet you Jay Egger will correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say she was like the first and foremost person that was published on it. Excuse me, Nicole Hannah Jones. Excuse me. Sorry.
Wow, you just
Right.
almost stuck somebody who might be innocent. Holy shit.
Yeah. No. Anyway, Nicole Hannah Jones. Rebecca Harris was something else I was looking at.
Wow.
Anyway, so she makes an assertion
Whew.
that the war for independence, the Revolutionary War, one of the primary reasons we fought that war was to preserve slavery,
Naturally, of course. Yeah.
right? And this is a major assertion, right?
Yeah. No shit.
Um, that to hinge the Revolutionary War on something that wasn't even something that England was in a point or position to crack down on us about, which is part of the assertion. They're using because England was starting to get rid of slavery, or Britain was starting to
Yeah.
get rid of slavery. They use that as part of the assertion that that was part of why we went to, and a very primary reason. So basically saying that the War of Independence hinged on preserving slavery. Now, when this came out, and it's this project, and it's a bunch of different journalists and writers, whatever, putting together these pieces, some documentary type stuff. It kind of evolved into various things, podcasts, documentary, a movie or two, something spun out of it, blah blah blah. But also, what came out of it was a lot of fact checking and a
Hmm.
lot of historical revisiting. And major historians came back and said, no, you cannot make these assertions because they don't hold up. And went to
but
the New York
Robert,
Times. Hold on.
but
Yeah.
Robert,
Uh huh.
Oceania was always at war with Eurasia. Come on.
But they said, these assertions can't be made. And here is historical fact that shows why. And petitioned that the New York Times have these pieces corrected. And basically, she was the spearhead piece in this.
Hmm.
And the but the entire premise of her opening salvo, this piece that she did, was this idea. And to correct that would mean rewriting, just doing away with it, because
Yeah.
what else would there be to build upon? And so no corrections, right?
No.
No corrections made to this, and now she did say that she would correct as needed, whenever they did a revision of this. And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute, why would you even need a revision of it if it was,
You need to
if it was
get
solid,
fucking
right?
yeah. It's not. It's not solid at all. There's
There's supposed to be a book being, like a major book being put together, and there it will be corrected as needed. And I'm like, okay, well, here's historians telling you that
that
you need
can't
to
be
rewrite
right.
the whole fucking thing and base it on something else. But anyway, so, but one of
Wow.
the evolutions of this project has been this building of a curriculized, uh,
Oh shit. Elephant Man's right.
What?
The Slavery Abolition Act,
Right.
which abolished slavery in most British colonies, was in 1833.
And that is correct. They were still working on getting rid of slavery over there. So they
I
wouldn't have
thought it was
even.
actually further back. To be fair, I thought it was
Right.
I thought it was before the American Revolution as
Well,
well.
they had started doing some of the groundwork for getting rid of slavery at that point. I mean, there were things happening, um, but to the enough to the extent that they would like to make the assertion that it had something to do with why we would want to
But we
secede
would have been
from
fine
their
still because
empire.
it didn't do that. Like the Abolition Act didn't affect Canada, South Africa, Jamaica, I believe. No, Jamaica. I don't think it was Jamaica. But it wasn't like the whole empire, the whole British Empire. It was just like most of England,
Right.
mostly just England and or the UK in general.
But there wasn't enough there to make the assertion. Plus, there were definitive reasons why. I mean, even how slavery was being handled in the United States didn't give credence to the entire United States going to war for that, because there were states that didn't have slavery, they weren't running slaves, and you know it's I, it was fucking insane. But
Yeah,
curriculum has spun off from this to be
naturally.
presented to schools as an addendum to their current curriculum, so that there is a better understanding of what the real shame behind slavery, that this entire country, the
Yeah,
founding of this country, should be shamed because it revolved around fucking slavery, and they
yeah.
want to teach it in school.
Oceania had always been at war with Eurasia, Robert. Fucking, I
They
swear, 1984 is becoming a fucking like
they
it's an
they want
instruction manual.
they are in essence arguing that the foundation of this country was illegitimate. That is the ultimate point. If you just follow, the path of logic that this takes you down, because a lot of
Mm.
it is about understanding the shame that the bad things that your country did. What the bad things that your country stands for. Now, this is what this is one of the things that our country stands for to this day, is a love
Yeah,
of
it's so
slavery.
stupid, so stupid. I mean,
Delegitimizes our.
there's so many of the founding fathers that were like, "Hey, let's abolish slavery in this Constitution thing that we're making," and they were like, "Nah," and then they were like, "Yeah." And obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but no, there was a huge amount of debate to the point where they were just like, "Listen, we're trying to, found a country. Like, we should just kick the can down the road,
Right.
deal with it
Listen,
later." And then they had to deal with it like 100 years later, like,
listen.
or just about.
I'm just gonna put this out there to anyone who's listening that might, I don't know, hold credence with this whole idea that this country was founded on a desire to maintain slavery. Um, I've got some ancestors who would argue that what they were really fighting for is to take full ownership of the land they took out from under us. So fuck off. Okay, we were here first.
Don't play the fucking oppression Olympics.
I'm just,
That's not a fun game to
you know what?
play.
It's a more
It's an
valid reason for the revolution
Yeah,
that.
but it's an irrelevant game to play. It's
No,
just
no,
like, oh,
you, but no,
how
no,
many
no.
victim
It,
points can I get? It's
hey,
like, dude.
you know what? I'm a boomer. I'm gonna throw it out there. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck your little arguments. This is
Right, fucking little argument.
don't
I feel
don't
like I'm
don't
right.
don't try
I
and.
feel like I'm right. My little feelies say I'm right.
I mean, it's literally an attempt to put a rewrite of history
Yes,
into
it is.
play in schools, and California is wanting to teach this in their curriculum. So, John, inserting yourself into the present system. not a system where we shouldn't have a Department of Education and all that. You're working with an existing Department of Education, current administration, you're part of that system. Do you agree that the state should be able to teach the curriculum that they want? Or do you agree that the federal government should, that the administration should be allowed to say, stop funding that state because they are going to insert this
I
in?
don't see why both things can't exist.
So you think that this should be allowed to be taught in California?
The state, the I mean, yeah, the state, the federal government does not have the right to tell the state what they can and can't teach.
Mm,
The people inside that state should be the ones being like, no, this is bullshit.
right.
Do not teach my child that. I'm going to put them in private school, or I'm going to put them in, I'm going to homeschool them, whatever they're able to do. Get them the fuck out of a public school, man. That's terrible.
John, Ed wants to know if you noticed something missing in his studio this morning.
I did not because I was not like I was there, but I was listening. I wasn't able to watch because I was at work. So
What was it?
no,
I'm
I
gonna
didn't.
I'm gonna guess.
It's probably the flag.
I'm looking at his room and I'm like, but which one? Is it the Boston's one or is it the
No, it's
Don't
the other
Tread on
one.
Me? It's he has a Don't Tread on Me kind of thing, doesn't he, or doesn't he?
No, no, he's got the Brotherhood of Steel
Brotherhood
flag
of
up.
Steel. Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing that fell down or something.
My eyesight's not good enough to ever be able to make that out. I don't think is what it is. But anyway,
But no, sorry, I didn't see it because I didn't get to watch. I was working, but I was listening. I was there.
uh, Elephant Man says each district should get to say what is taught to their children. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
make
okay.
it as
So
local as possible. I would like each school to be able to decide what they're teaching.
okay, here's the question then. All right. When it comes to the standpoint of the history of this country, how things really happened, what really happened,
Mm-hmm.
do we not? I don't. God damn it! How do we not think country in teaching the facts when it comes to the history of this country, the right and wrong, not the moral right and wrong, but just the factual right and wrong of
Right.
things that happened, so that kids, you don't have like sections of the country that are being educated that you know two different ideas of what the founding of this country were about and
Yeah.
where that
Well, so
puts
a
us
number of
now.
things. A number of things. I mean, all that information is online. So you're also assuming. Are we assuming that it's been like generations of this? Because as soon as my kid comes back with some like bullshit like that, you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, did you know about? I'm like, no, that's not true, right? And then you can go into it yourself, and hopefully you're able to pull your kid out of that school and move to a district or to somewhere else that's gonna, you know,
See,
it's gonna let you do that.
Yeah, Elephant Man says that's federalism and that's wrong. And okay, I get it. I get it. I understand that. I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm saying
Um,
there's always, or I guess I should say there's almost always another solution other than government.
the problem I have with it is by doing this, by rewriting this aspect of history,
Mm-hmm.
there it will literally change the perspective of the present for those that learn it.
Right.
It will make you see our present situation in a completely different light.
Yeah, that's the point of it.
But that how,
Christianity had always been at war with East Asia.
how do you but that is dissent. That to me is dissent. I don't know how else you. Oh god, am I too much of a statist, a
Yeah.
nationalist? What is it?
Statist. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I don't.
but I mean,
There's a difference between teaching someone facts. I mean, how
but
can
it's not
someone?
even nationalist because you're more interested in teaching the true things that happened, regardless of how it make like a nationalist, like a real nationalist, would say, "Don't teach any of the bad stuff about America. Just teach the good
Okay,
things." So you would be more. You're looking for. just teach the truth,
I want
which
right.
is what, of
Teach the
course, people
facts.
should do, right? Which, of course, everyone should want. But now we're in a world where the facts are whatever we decide at the moment, and they can change at a moment's notice, depending on what narrative you need to spin right now.
Or what's implemented into the curriculum at school.
Yeah,
That that causes me a little bit of concern, John. I mean, a
yeah.
lot of concern, to be honest with you, because I you change you're gonna fucking change society in that way.
It's indoctrination. Yeah,
You're gonna there's what's the ultimate goal there?
indoctrination. Raising a bunch of kids to hate the country that they live in,
Why? Why?
to overthrow it and
Why?
implement a socialist utopia. It's for the greater good, Robert.
I
The
don't.
greater good,
Elferman says
Robert.
public
The
schools were
greater
invented to teach
good.
the underclass how to be good factory
It's
workers.
true,
There are
yeah.
two tiers of schooling, and we're in the wrong tier.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah, yeah. This is concerning to me. You know, I mean, am I wrong to want the truth being taught? Right? You said that,
You're
right? I'm
not
not wrong
wrong.
for
Yeah,
that.
you're not wrong at all. Don't
Um,
let them gaslight you, Robert.
but am I
Don't let it
wrong?
happen.
Am I wrong for wanting that to be how all people are educated about the country?
You're not wrong for wanting it. I would only say I wouldn't even say you're wrong for wanting the government to set that standard. I don't think they should. Uh, but like I'm not like mad at you for it. You know, like it's one of the lesser things that the state would do is set a standard. Um, it's not as evil as a lot of the other things government does, but but no, I mean I'd still rather leave it up to states and local districts to decide what is taught in schools.
Now, see, Elephant Man has to go and get all philosophical. Whose truth? See, I mean, thanks,
Yeah.
but no,
I
thanks
mean,
for throwing.
luckily,
But yeah,
when
I
it comes
know.
to history, especially history as recent as the founding of this country, luckily they were writing a lot of stuff down.
Right. There can be
So
an agreed upon
there
truth
certainly
right
can be an
there.
agreed upon truth that's based off of empirical evidence,
Right.
which is the best kind of truth you can get when you're looking into the past. You know, it's the best you can do.
Right.
So I'll go with that. And
Um,
where what's really fun is when historians disagree and both have a really good point. That's the most fun because then you get to kind of look at it yourself and decide for yourself which one's more plausible. But for the most part, especially like I said, being that recent, uh, we have a lot of information, so we can kind of figure out what's true and what's not. Obviously, it gets more murky when you get into ancient stuff, but
right. But I mean, yeah, I have to say that a lot of our American history is pretty well documented, right? I mean,
yeah,
we even go back as far as as the Revolution. There's diaries, there's letters that were written back and
legal
forth
documents.
on both sides, right?
There's ledgers. Yeah, ledgers
Right.
are awesome to see. You can see like what's being shipped from where, like cargo manifests on ships and
Right.
things like that. You can read. Like you can still read them.
Right. So
Everything was written down.
one would think if you're fighting a war for independence, a lot of this, a lot of this conversation that's going back and forth, letters and whatnot, all this communication, all this documented stuff, you would think that somewhere in there, you would begin to get a gist of let's save slavery,
Yeah,
drive the British home.
yeah. Show me the speech where one of them,
Right?
was made a passionate, monologue about we need to keep
Preserving
the preserving
slavery.
slavery. It's the most important thing we could do at
Right?
this time. No, what were the speeches about?
Right?
right? They're all about liberty and
right,
yeah, casting
and
off the shackles of tyranny,
casting
shit
off
like that.
tyranny, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, all
I
right,
mean, so was it hypocritical for them to still own slaves while seeking liberty? Of course, and they
sure,
realized that. It's not like they weren't self-aware. They knew that was going on, but but I mean, they weren't like sitting there like, oh man, we need to rubbing their hands together. We need to make sure we keep those slaves around. Like, no, I mean, maybe that was some motivations for some people, for like individuals, but not like the founding fathers in general. You know,
I,
I don't know.
you know, I think that the beauty of keeping things as pure as possible, you know, from a factual standpoint,
Yeah,
as best we can muster, as a collective. And it's sad to say, but history is something that needs to be done as a collective so that the collective agrees that the history is strong to continue passing on the history, right?
right. And more importantly, too, history needs to be taught in context. Like, so
Sure.
just like a dry recitation of facts is, first of all, extremely boring. And secondly, doesn't really give you the gravity of like events, things like
Right.
that. You know, it all needs to be taught in context because once you have
Right.
the context, it's like reading a fantasy novel or a sci-fi novel or something. You know, you have a narrative going. You have you can kind of really see all the parts and pieces coming together, and I think that's important when you're learning about history.
And but we have to remember that, when we talk about context, that is a double-edged sword, because we have to look at things that were done, and
Hmm.
look at the context within which those things were done. And
Right.
for me, and it's looking back at things like, when the original documents for this country were written, the Bill of Rights and
Hmm.
Declaration of Independence. Strong Christian faith, strong religious values going on in the society as a whole. I mean, it was a very more, much more purient time. Is purient? What's the word I'm looking for there? Puritan time. I maybe close to puritanical. Yes, because I mean,
Well, it's more puritanical than
you were
normal.
held accountable from a very Christian moral standpoint, in my opinion.
I
I
mean,
mean,
certainly in the culture there was,
yeah.
but
So,
I
but
mean,
that would
this is during the Enlightenment. Like there were a lot more deists around who
sure.
were almost atheists. Basically, they were atheists except for the creation story.
Right.
Like,
There was still being, everything was still being held to a higher power for most people, no matter
yeah,
what walk of life they were in. And I will always say that that affects what's being written at the time, no matter whether it's just literary work of fiction, or whether it's nonfiction and political, or religious, et cetera, et cetera. Everything, of course, religion, but in various derivations of religion that were starting to go on at the time, or
well,
still
so
going on.
this is what I'm talking about, where it needs to be put into context of the time. So it's not even necessarily that they were trying to found a Christian country, or even that they were necessarily deep believers, even the ones who were. Um, it's more that the culture surrounding everything was Christian in nature, right? So whether or not, like, just like how now, if it's the two of us, not both of us are atheists, if one of us sneezes, the other one is likely to say "bless you." Regardless, it's just that's a tradition. That's
Sure,
just something that's yeah, it's something that you just do. It doesn't mean that you believe that. So it's
absolutely.
more about the flowery language
Sure,
that you would put into a letter. You'd be
right.
much more formal, and a letter or a legal document or something like that. You're much more formal, and that's what was considered formal at the time. Was some religious salutations in one way or another. And then also most people at the time were Christian. So if you wanted them to understand something, you put it into the context of religion, and it kind of makes it easier for the average person to digest the complex thoughts. So that's more about what it is, and that's what I mean by contextualizing things. Is that it was more, yeah, an understanding thing and just customs at the time.
And I get that, and but it still carries on today. I mean,
Yeah,
it's still very strong today, to the point, to the extent that, you know, you get this idea when you listen to politicians or people involved in politics talk. I notice
right.
this at the
It's always God
at
bless
the
you, God bless
RNC,
America, God
right?
bless you, God bless America. Yeah,
This idea, just in various ways that it's talked about, that, if God came down to earth and made a choice, he would be American.
right. Well, that's yeah, that's just some nationalism. Everyone's done
Right.
that.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Every country has done
that,
that.
you know, but that gives a flavor to government that I don't want. It's like too much cayenne pepper. Like, I love cayenne pepper, but too much is just too much, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's, yes, it's all about how the context of how you present the history, but it's got to be, you know, it's evident. It's got to be self-evident. That's what makes history factual. That's what it's about. It's about being self-evident. So in all those
hmm.
writings, it's
What do
not
you mean?
self-evident that slavery was a part of the revolution. It would have made itself self-evident through those writings.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
That's
that
what I'm
part is true.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
You're when
You'll
we
be able to see
when all we
writings
have to
of the
go on is
time.
our interpretation of what's being said at the time,
Right.
certain things make themselves self-evident. Like people wanting, there were people striving to be free from tyrannical bonds of England, right?
Right.
I mean, that came through in the writing,
Yeah, exactly. And but
taxation
see,
woes and things like
and the
this.
problem again with not contextualizing is why you're able to look back at founding fathers or any person, any historical figure ever, and just be like, oh, they were racist, so we need to like destroy any mention of them ever. Well, it's like, okay, again, you have to contextualize it at the time. Were they better or worse than the average person of their time, like morally? Were they a better person or a worse person at the time? Because you can't hold someone to the same standards before the ideas had been had. You know what I mean? Like before we had the idea of like equality and
Right,
races, you can't hold someone accountable for something before that idea even surfaced.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
That's
like
how. Like,
and this, because it, again, when you follow the logical path of thinking, one of the roads that you can easily go down is, all of that is responsible for your plight today. What?
yeah, yeah,
What? All of what? I'm sorry. Listen, opportunity exists out there, folks. I don't care
yeah.
who the fuck
Well,
you are.
see, and that's
It
another
does
problem. Is
exist.
That's another problem. Is a nihilistic and cynical view of history.
Mhm.
Because I mean, the same. You can look at the same set of, the same history, same historical timeline, and say, look at everything that's been built since the beginning of time. Look how amazing things are now compared to how they were before. Whereas the nihilist and cynic will look at it and say, everything bad that's happening right now is because of everything bad that's happened in the past. It's like, okay, you're only looking at one aspect, though. That's
But
it.
see,
You're looking at one aspect,
but see,
looking
there's
at the bad
there's
things that happened, but out of those bad things, a lot of the times, good things come out of them.
but see,
I mean,
there's the beauty of it right there. It is the simple knowledge that everything positive that exists in your world today came from something bad in the past.
yeah, exactly.
Something bad had to have happened for all of it. Listen,
That's when shit gets
it,
done. I
it,
mean,
if
shit gets done when shit is bad.
somewhere in your past, somebody conquered somebody,
Oh
and
yeah,
it was bad, but
right.
something great came of it, and nobody looks back at the bad and goes, well, if this hadn't happened, we'd be running around with corn cobs up our ass today. Nobody.
Right.
Stop and think, people.
Yeah.
Everything bad happens just like everything good happens. Good and bad things happen.
Right. It's pretty
People,
fucking simple.
surprisingly enough, data has just shown people are about 100% fucking human and prone to
Whoa,
fucking mistakes.
that's crazy.
I know recent surveys and studies have shown this to be true.
I mean, I'm an exception to that, obviously. I've never done anything bad or incorrect or wrong. Everything I've done has been amazing. But yes, most people, you're right. Yeah.
Because the bottom line is if you're sitting around looking at the person to the right or left of you and trying to hold them to a higher fucking standard, you should be checking that your nose is not bleeding from the own standards you're not setting.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just fucking tired of it. It's like, really, you want to delegitimize why this country got its freedom,
Yeah.
and it was to keep you from getting two pairs of the latest fucking Jordans as
Yeah.
opposed to one. It stopped you from having an education. How did that happen? Oh, it didn't. It stopped you from having a little motivation and ambition to do something more. I failed
Yeah.
in life. I have failed in life. I'm not a fucking success. Guess what? It's nobody else's fault.
Yeah.
I am to blame for every shitty thing
Yeah.
I've ever done to myself in life.
Right.
And I don't expect to get a handout. Though it'd be nice, please donate. I mean,
It's not
but
a
I'm,
handout. If you subscribe to our subscribe star, you will get something in
look,
return. It's not like it's a handout. All right, you get something in return. We have tiers. We have perks.
am I ever
Yeah,
gonna
you get
am I
something in
ever gonna
return.
be world famous from this fucking from this pot? No. I'm gonna sit
Probably
here and I'm
not.
gonna talk to John till I'm old and gray. Oh, till now,
No.
and and that's that. But at least I'm fucking sharing my opinion, and I'm not doing it in the most idiotic way I can think of, like trying to rewrite fucking history.
Yeah.
Rewrite history? Rebrand history. Do you want to call it rebrand so we don't
Oh
accuse
no, it's
people of
rewriting. No, I'm
rewriting?
accusing.
You
I'm
know,
accusing. I'm accusing of rewriting.
fucking rebrand history. Make it
No,
make it
rewriting.
make it more colorful. Make it
No,
more, you
it's
know,
rewriting
you know.
completely. It's making shit up out of thin air and presenting it as fact. That is rewriting history.
It's
Fuck rebranding.
and so I say to Donald Trump, hats off,
Yeah, he
brother.
watches.
You shut down funding to states that want to preach that shit. Use the vehicles that
Yeah,
are in place to make that happen.
yeah.
Because I don't want to see history being rewritten.
And California's not going to survive without federal funding to their schools.
Hmm?
No fucking way.
You are never going to appreciate this fucking country and what it gives to you on a daily basis
Right. I mean,
by
just the fact that you can say America is a shitty country proves how great of a country it is. Because you're not going to get fucking your door kicked in
right
and dragged off and disappeared and no one's ever going to hear from you again.
that you have put us
That
that
only happens if you have information about Hillary. That's the only time that's ever going to happen to you.
I mean it's sad that the freedom to generate this kind of falsehood and let it get to the point that it's getting to where it could be taught as education. like
Yeah.
like you can't see that. Well, fine, then we'll exercise the freedom to shut that shit down. Fuck it.
Yeah. They don't have to support
Fuck
it.
it. The
Yeah.
laws are there. So fuck you. I mean, Jesus Christ. I've got the freedom to rewrite history, but I'm oppressed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm super oppressed, but I'm going to decide what your children can learn in school.
What?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Great.
I I I
Have fun
I
with that, sweetie. I'm sure your cats are proud of you.
and I know they won't hear it. I know that they won't hear it because they don't hear it from people, like real people telling them this is not correct. It needs to be corrected. No, no, we're not going to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll make some adjustments. I don't know, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
No, it stands. And in fact, we're going to teach it to your fucking kids.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to teach it to your kids. This is America. We can teach your kids anything we want, no matter how false it is.
Mm-hmm.
We can teach them that. This is
And
a
you
free
can just shut the
country.
fuck up. Make sure you don't watch either. Make sure you
It's
don't watch what your kids are learning either.
it's a free
Anybody.
country. We're fucking oppressed. Don't you
Mm-hmm.
see the oppression? Don't you see the oppression?
Yep.
How dare you say I can't teach my lies?
Yeah.
How dare you, sir? How dare you say I can't teach my lies? By God, this is America.
Teach whatever lies I want, damn it.
God damn it. Oh, you want the Department of Education, don't you? You want that Department of Education, don't you, California? You like the Department of Education.
Oh
Guess
yeah.
what? They don't want you to teach that shit, so stop it. Stop.
Yeah, that's one of the promises I hope that he follows through on if they actually do.
You want to teach your kids about, getting rid of racism in your heart? Have them read To
Stop
Kill a
teaching it.
Fucking Mockingbird. Have
Yeah,
them
then
read To
stop
Kill a
teaching it.
Mockingbird.
Stop teaching racism and people won't be as
Sure.
goddamn racist. Imagine that, right?
Right? To Kill a Mockingbird was a great book for doing that. It solves a lot of things, questions in your mind. Oh, so
It was a good book.
that's what hate is. That's how you overcome it.
Yeah.
And there's somebody that doesn't see it. So that's how I need to be. Oh, okay, fine, got it. Okay, I just won't be pissed off for no reason then.
Yeah.
Thanks. Fuck. There, racism solved.
Yeah.
Don't be pissed off at people for no reason.
Yeah.
If you're pissed off at somebody for a reason, that's okay. If
Of
you have
course.
to that person specifically,
Right.
outside of that, don't be pissed off at people for no reason.
That's the takeaway from here,
That's your
Chad.
value,
Hate individuals, not groups.
right? Don't hate people for no reason. All right, John. Tell these people how they can get in touch with us or talk to us, and
Yes.
and not hate us for no reason.
Yes. If you like us, if you like what you're hearing, first of all, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button, all that stuff. Little bell thing next to it as well. Uh, look down in our description. If you haven't, if you're a little affectionate towards us, you can check out our description. You can follow us on Twitter at the GenGapP. Our Discord server's there, and I at least am very accessible from the Discord server. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me ever, honestly. Um, and then we've got our Subscribe Star. Subscribe Star, if you love us, you might even consider, kicking a couple bucks our way. We've got we got 3 tiers and we've got some perks on there. So, yeah, make
It's
sure you
like
guys check those out, see if you like any of them.
it's like the rim job that keeps on giving.
Right. So, yeah, check those out. We'd really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to us. We're trying to do this for a living. So, obviously, we're a long way off from doing that, but,
And we're still living.
still living. Yeah. And freedomscoop.com as well. We've got that.
Freedom
We're,
Scoop. We like
yeah,
Freedom
Freedom
Scoop.
Scoop. We're on Freedom Scoop.
We're a part of it.
There's also some other people who are on there as well. Some people you should also check out, such as Jay Edgar, who's in the chat there. Stephen Ignoramus is over there as well. We've got Wyatt from Roundtable Decision. He was in here earlier. We've got R-Rated Conservative over there, and the Freckles and Brit Show is over there too.
There's a lot going
So
on.
make sure you check them out and make sure you buy some of our shirts because they're pretty awesome. Actually, I unironically wear my shirt like often because it's a really comfortable shirt, like good
It really is.
material. Like it really is. Yeah, I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. Like it really is. It's probably my favorite shirt now. Uh, and yeah, you can also put in the code GenGap at checkout. You'll get 15% off your purchase. So have fun with that because it's pretty awesome.
Wow, you sounded like you were winging that.
Oh, I was, yeah. I'm tired, I told you.
I remember when you used to have that practiced,
Yeah, I used to do it in like 30 seconds.
polished everything. Oh, and by
Yeah.
the way, I did take a look at your John Sucks at Archery. I like the little fence you were putting around that deer. That was really nice.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the
I
pickets, you
was
were laying the pickets down for a
I was shake
fence.
I'm shaking off the rust. It's been a few months,
Is that what that was?
That's what
I
that
like that.
was.
I like that.
I was
I
shaking
was
off
like,
the rust,
I was
man,
like, yeah,
because
if he just puts a couple of wires around those, he's got it.
hey, I hit
He'll
it
keep that.
twice,
He'll
alright?
keep that deer cornered.
I hit it twice, alright?
Is that what
Uh,
you're going with? A.
yeah, that's what I'm going with.
All right, cool. All right, folks. We're going to be back again on Friday. That's 2 days away. We're going to be back on Friday at 8:30 for our regular show, and I think John. I don't know. Can we? Do we dare talk about John Locke?
I
Do you
think we
think we?
should.
Do you think we
I
can
think we
talk
should
about
talk
that?
about. I think we should talk about John Locke for a while.
John Locke.
Yeah,
So bring your locksmith, and
I've actually started going back through Two Treaties of Government in preparation for it, so I've been listening to it.
oh dear God, oh dear
So
God.
it's only like was it like 8.5 hour? No, 9 hour. Like just shy of 9 hour book. It's not that like crazy.
Wow, that's a lot of book. Well, John will know more than me, so there's that. No, mainly, from my side, it's going to be a lot of questions. It's going to be a lot of,
Yeah,
because again, I still have this idea that I might try. I'm still trying to wrap my head around libertarianism in the present day.
right.
The
And John Locke
fit.
is a good place to start, uh, because he's not a libertarian, but he kind of lays a lot of the groundwork for it, or at least a lot of the arguments for
Right.
it,
But
for
he
liberty
he
in
he
general.
he had I don't know, yeah, there's a I really get a lot of his that groundwork, as you say, from
Yeah,
listening to people talk about it. So
like John Locke is actually like baby's first libertarian. I would
right.
recommend, yeah,
Right.
I would recommend reading him first. Although it is kind of,
It's his talk about natural law, natural
yeah,
natural law, human rights,
yeah,
how those interplay with man and society. But yeah, so maybe we can talk about that. We'll see.
yeah,
We'll see if I've
absolutely.
got my gumption up to dig into it a little bit more between now and then. I could be old and fall
And
asleep.
we may even talk a little bit about your boy Yuri Bezimov,
Who's Yuri Bezimov?
the guy that I showed you, and you were like, "Yeah, that might be
Oh,
worth."
that. Yeah, we could talk about that too.
That is
That's
his name, right? I
yeah.
feel like I said that wrong.
The key word there being subversion, right?
Bezimov. Okay, yeah, I did say it right. Yeah, subversion and all that. So yeah, Friday should be an interesting show.
Could be very interesting. If nothing else, it might be subversive. Um, other than that, we'll be
Might
back again.
destabilize itself. All right,
We'll
I'm
be
sorry. Go ahead.
we'll be back again next Wednesday as well. Again for shooting the shit. Thank you for joining us on our new night. Those of you who were able to make it. That'll be at 9:30. Both of those times, 8:30 and 9:30, are in the Eastern time zone, the one and only true time zone, where John doesn't get enough beauty sleep
Well, that's right,
and
man.
probably never could.
Never could.
But anyway, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for joining us tonight, folks. We'll talk to you soon. John, have yourself a good night. Peace out.
Yep, see you guys.
The war will begin.